Hello there, everyone. Kellen Olson here, usually with the post-game report, but I've got a friend.
Hey.
It's Kevin
Hey,
Zimmerman
hey.
of Empire of the Suns. We're going to do an impromptu couple-of-minute podcast here before we actually record the real podcast here in a little bit. Kevin, the Suns lost. What did you think?
Russell Westbrook, good on defense, it turns out. Still got a lot of pop, made some huge plays, whether it was chase down of KD from behind coming off screen, the late one on Booker, but he was everywhere, offensive rebounds too.
He was, Kevin, and that was probably the most surprising part of this game to me is that I expected the Suns to be in this kind of pick their poison element where they were just going to be able to pick whatever matchup they wanted and go there, but Westbrook was phenomenal defensively. Eric Gordon was as well. The Clippers started this game by putting Kawhi Leonard on DeAndre Ayton to clog up the Suns' offense and make them run different stuff offensively, and that was the story. The Suns played a terrible 18 minutes, and I think from there, what Ty Lue did essentially was say, like, okay, you guys are going to have to beat us with your raw talent. The Suns did not do that tonight because Kawhi Leonard was the best player on the floor. You're going to have to beat us with effort, and that was mixed. We saw it in the mid-second quarter. We saw it in the third quarter. But then it was ultimately like, okay, you guys are just going to have to out-execute us. And it wasn't close in the last 6 minutes. Kevin Durant got one shot up. It was a lot of Chris Paul, a lot of DeAndre Ayton, which we've seen work for this team a lot in the postseason. But it did not tonight.
Man, and there was like a whole minute basically burned off from offensive rebounding, and that kind of just took away tons, like 3 possessions maybe, where you could have made that 3-point difference up. And the funniest part about it is they just kept going pick and roll, and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton before that. And, credit Kevin Durant. I think he finished with 11 assists looking for teammates. But at the end of the day, why do you pay? Why do you trade for him? It's Kevin Durant.
This is going to be a really tough rewatch for Suns fans because going through the play-by-play and watching the about 6 minutes left until about 3 minutes left, it was like the Phoenix Suns kept handing the Clippers the dagger, and they were like, here, you can end the game, and then the Clippers just couldn't do it, whether it was their own turnovers, there was that free transition and one for Torrey Craig after the Suns did the same thing for Terrence Mann, and then there were these different stretches where they just missed a shot, and the Suns kept coming down and having a chance to take the lead, and they just could not make a shot, and then eventually Kawhi Leonard hits a three. Russell Westbrook gets an offensive rebound. He pulls the ball out for about 3 or 4 seconds to reset the possession. No one still finds Kawhi Leonard by then, who, by the way, at that point had 32 points. He hits the open three. They come down again. Kawhi hits a contested three. That's fine. What are you going to do? But then Eric Gordon gets a wide open three because Kawhi Leonard is triple teamed, and inexcusably from about 10 feet out at the top of the key, Eric Gordon's wide open, and he is a phenomenal shooter. He's going to hit that every time. And that's just execution right there. Those two things especially. The Kawhi contested three, what are you going to do? But those little moments where you just didn't execute, and we're so used to this team being elite at that, and right now they aren't. And Kevin, I got to be honest, we talked a lot about continuity. Everyone made a big fuss about this whole 8-game thing. I think the fuss was correct because this looked like a team that just needs more time to gel and more time to go back to the original point to find Kevin Durant the ball late.
Yeah, I think it's more about what their star players did or did not do than it is, look, the bench got outscored by a lot. Torrey Craig, he played really well and they were looking for him, but Ty Lue basically said it and admitted, look, Torrey Craig, I'm not even throwing shade at him, had a great game, but I'd rather have him doing the 22 points than letting Kevin Durant hit 40 or whatever.
We'll have much more on the Empire of the Suns podcast. There's a million things to get to from this game, including me failing to talk. Torrey Craig starting for Josh Okogie. That was a pretty big surprise. You hinted at it right there. How did Devin Booker play? He was really good in this game. That was probably the best defensive game I've ever seen him play. He had a couple in the finals on Chris Middleton where he was sensational, but I think he ended up with 4 steals and 3 blocks in this game, which did him justice with how he did defensively. But we're done here. You're going to have to go listen to our podcast to hear it, or don't, and this will be the extent of the coverage you do. I recommend you do that, and then you go to ArizonaSports.com. This guy's going to write about Russell Westbrook. I'm going to write about that game, and a weird game. The Suns are down 1-0. We have not seen this yet in the Monty Williams, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, whatever you want to call it, era. They've never been down 1-0 in a series before. Now we get to see how it pans out. See you then.